Hi guys, let's look at the second student task statement called measuring a soccer field. A soccer field is 120 yards long. Han measures the length of the field using a 30-foot long tape measure and gets a measurement of 358 feet and 10 inches. What is the amount of the error? Express the error as a percent of the actual length of the field. Okay, so when I looked at this, and this caught me off guard the first time I looked at this problem, it says the soccer field is 120 yards long, and Han is using a 30-foot long tape measure and gets a measurement of 358 feet and 10 inches, okay? So yards and feet are not the same measurements, okay? So we need to figure out, well, how many feet is the actual soccer field? So I'm going to figure that out, okay? How many, and I'm going to write this question down. Because remember, like I said, yards and feet are not the same. And I'm going to use this side to answer question 1. I'm going to use this side to answer question 2, okay? So you need to first figure out how many feet is the actual soccer field, okay? Because it's saying that it's 120 yards, but in 1 yard there is 3 feet. So what I want to do is I need to figure out, well, and I put it in ratio form to show you guys, but you really don't need it. But I need to figure out, well, how many feet are in 120 yards. So what you can do is say, well, how can I get 1 to 120? How can I get 3 to whatever numbers that's missing? And you can multiply by 120 on both sides, which would be 360 feet. Or if you would have started like, okay, just multiply 120 times 3 and you would have got 360 yards or 360 feet, that would have been fine as well. That's how I saw it. Okay. So now I need to figure out, well, what is the amount of error? So what I want to do is I want to subtract his measurement from the actual, okay? So I want to do 360 feet minus 358 feet, 10 inches. Okay? So before we get started, I want to borrow. Okay, we're going to have to borrow because it's 10 inches. And what do we have to subtract it from? So since we're dealing with feet and inches, I'm going to borrow a foot, which is 12 inches, and put it right here. And this is going to make it 359 instead. So keep that in mind that this is still representing 360 feet. Oops, let me write this better. Let me erase that because I put 300. That is still representing 360 feet, but 359 feet plus 12 inches is 360 feet, okay? So it's the same thing. So now I want to subtract. So he was off by 1 foot and 2 inches. 1 foot and 2 inches. Okay? So now I need to figure out, well, what is the percent of the error? Okay? So if I use the proportion tables, what we've been learning about is I want to put percent over 100, and the error was 1 foot, or we could say 14 inches, Let's convert that 1 foot to 14 inches. Okay, how do I know? Because 1 foot is equivalent to 12 inches. 12 inches plus 2 inches is 14 inches. Okay. Now, I can convert those inches or those yards to inches, which is the 120 yards. I can convert that to inches as well. So I can multiply that times 3 to get the feet, which is 360 feet. And I can multiply that by 12. When I multiply that by 12, so 360 times 12, I get 4,320 inches. And you may be wondering, well, why is she using inches? Why does she have to do that? Because since I made the top or the numerator inches, I have to make the denominator inches too. If I would have used feet, I could have kept 360 feet, and I could have kept 1 foot, and I could have said 1 foot and 1/6 of foot, and then multiply going straight across, but I just kept it as inches. So now the percent is missing, so what you want to do is multiply going across. And now, in which I'm going to put an X there, and I'm going to let the X equal the percent error, or the measurement error. Sorry about that. I hate when my stuff does that. Let me erase that. Okay, I'm just writing this down so you guys can write down with me percent error. Okay, so when I multiply that going across, it's going to be 4,320. And I'm going to, like I said, this is X. This is the missing percent. And it's going to equal 1,400. Okay. So now what I want to do is I want to divide that by both sides. I want to isolate the variable. So I want to divide 4,320 divided by on both sides. That cancels out, and I'm going to write that neater. And the reason why I did that is because I'm trying to isolate my variable. Okay, so when I do that, and yes, I am using a calculator, I get this as my percent, 0.3240 ... Okay, now that 4 is not big enough to make that 2 go up, so I'm going to say that the percent error is 3,200%, or the measurement error is 3,200%. Okay, guys, if you had any issues with this question, please refer to your manager's Google Meet session, and I'll see you guys in the next question.